Warm greetings everyone. I'm Dr. Purnima Khanna from Khalsa College of Law, Amritsar. I'm going to speak on the topic Personal Laws and Uniform Civil Code. India, as envisaged in the preamble of the Constitution, is a secular nation with a lots of diversities in religion, caste, tribes and languages. In our country, most of the laws like criminal law, law of contract, law relating to transfer of property, taxation laws, etc. have uniform application throughout the country over all the citizens of the country irrespective of their religion. However, there is no uniform law relating to family matters. Like in case of marriage, divorce, inheritance and guardianship, etc., personal laws differ. Different personal laws are applicable on different religious groups. Hindus, Sikhs, Jains and Buddhists, who are the original religions of this territory. They have one common law, that is Hindu law. Further, the Muslims, Christians, Jews and Parsis are governed by their own set of personal laws. Now, what are personal laws? They are those set of laws which are applicable upon a class or group of people based upon their religion, faith and culture. They are also known as family laws. They generally govern the aspects like marriage, divorce, etc. While Uniform Civil Code applies that one set of secular laws will be applicable upon all the citizens of a country irrespective of their religions and caste. It is based upon the idea that in case of a civilized society, if all the laws are uniform, then the country will be more united and integrated. If we see the historical background of this concept, the debate for a uniform civil code goes back to the colonial period in our country. The Britishers in Lex Loci report of 1840 suggested that there shall be a uniformity of laws in India. The debate for a common laws or a uniform civil code goes back to the colonial period in India. The Lex Loci report of October 1840 suggested that there shall be uniformity of laws in India. However, it also suggested that Britishers shall not interfere in the religious matters of the various communities existing in India. Therefore, the laws relating to family matters were left out. And since that period, different communities are still governed by their personal laws based upon their own religious scriptures as well as customs. If we see the constitutional mandate, Article 44, which is mentioned in Directive Principles, which is part of Part 4th of the Constitution, it deals with the concept of Uniform Civil Code. It provides that the state shall endeavour to secure a uniform civil code for all the citizens of its territory. The idea behind implementation of Uniform Civil Code is that there shall be one nation, one citizen and one code. This idea is also based upon the philosophy that uniformity of laws will strengthen the principles of secularism as well as the solidarity of a nation. Further, the constitution makers, they believed that Article 44 separates religious matters from the social relations. They also believed that there is no relation between the religious matters of the communities as well as the family matters, that is the law relating to the marriage, divorce, custody of children, maintenance, etc. Moving further, if we see the international obligation of a country, India has ratified various international conventions like International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights 1966, Then International Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women 1979, also known as CEDAW Convention. Therefore, it is the international obligation of a country to ensure that gender equality and gender justice is provided in its domestic laws. Now, there is no denial to the fact that most of the personal laws are discriminatory against women in general. The supporters of Uniform Civil Code say that Uniform Civil Code will help to achieve gender equality as well as gender justice. They also assert that the union government shall cull out the just and equitable principles of all the personal laws and prepare a blueprint of Uniform Civil Code. They further advocate that Uniform Civil Code will help our country to achieve the basic constitutional principle of secularism. It will remove the divisiveness prevalent in our country, and after the implementation of Uniform Civil Code, India will definitely emerge as a more cohesive nation. Now, if we see the judicial response towards this concept, our Supreme Court, our apex court from the very beginning has supported the idea of Uniform Civil Code. The Honorable Supreme Court of India, our highest court of in this country, has always backed the idea of Uniform Civil Code in its various landmark judgments. The very first case in which the Supreme Court of India supported Uniform Civil Code was the State of Bombay versus Narsu Malli. The Supreme Court observed that a uniform civil code is must to eradicate all sort of gender discriminations prevalent in various personal laws. Another ground-breaking decision was Muhammad Ahmad Khan versus Shah Banu Begum's case of 1986. In this case, a lawyer divorced his wife and paid maintenance to her for the period of iddat, as both the parties were Muslims. After the expiry of iddat period, he refused to pay her any maintenance. The wife approached the court for the purpose of seeking maintenance under section 125 of Criminal Procedure Code. It was pleaded by the husband that, as per the Muslim law, a Muslim husband is liable to pay maintenance to his wife only during the iddat, and afterwards he has no such liability. However, the Supreme Court made it clear that Section 125 of CRPC, being a secular provision, is applicable upon all the citizens of India irrespective of their religion. In the context of Uniform Civil Code, the court specifically observed that Uniform Civil Code will help in national integration. It will foster the idea of unity and integrity in our country, and it will also remove all sort of divisiveness prevalent in our personal laws. Moving further, another case was Sarla Mudgal versus Union of India. In this case, there was various petitions which were clubbed together in which Hindu husbands, they have converted to Islam only for the purpose of performing second marriage. Now, the basic question before the Supreme Court was that whether a Hindu person already married as per Hindu rites can convert into Islam and practice polygamy or not. The Supreme Court gave answer in negative and held that till the first Hindu marriage is existing, the second marriage of such converted Muslim will be considered to be a bigamous marriage. In this case, again, the Supreme Court observed that it is the right time that the Government of India shall take a fresh look at Article 44 of the Constitution and work for the implementation of the same as soon as possible. If we critically analyze these cases, we see that the Supreme Court deviated from its previous decisions in Maharishi Avdesh's case. In this case, a writ petition was filed under Article 32 of Indian Constitution for seeking issuance of writ of mandamus to the Union of India for the purpose of implementing Uniform Civil Code in the nation. However, the Supreme Court held that the writ is not maintainable and also observed that implementation of Uniform Civil Code is a matter of legislative policy and court will not interfere into it. This decision was criticized by the majority of legal jurists. Then again, in another case, that is Ahmedabad Working Women's Group versus Union of India, the Supreme Court again was cautious regarding its approach towards the implementation of Uniform Civil Code. It again emphasized that it is a legislative matter and court have no right to interfere into the legislative sphere. However, if we see overall decisions of the Supreme Court, in majority of its decisions, the Supreme Court has backed the idea of Uniform Civil Code. Now, what is the basic opposition of Uniform Civil Code? The basic bone of contention against the idea of implementation of Uniform Civil Code in a country is that there is a idea or there is a fear or apprehension in the minds of minorities. They are skeptical. They fear that in the guise of Uniform Civil Code, the personal laws of majority community will be imposed upon them. And also there will be interference in their religious diversity. However, the foregoing discussion makes it clear that Uniform Civil Code is very much essential and necessary. The foregoing discussion makes it clear that majority of the legal scholars believe that implementation of Uniform Civil Code is necessary to achieve the constitutional goals of secularism, unity of country, integrity of the country, as well as the ideas of gender justice and gender equality. However, the same idea is opposed on the basis that it will interfere into the religious diversities of the various religious communities. They believe that the matters like marriage, divorce, inheritance, custody of children and such like other matters, they are part of their religious affairs and they are covered within their fundamental right to freedom of religion under Article 25. However, it is pertinent to note that in S.R. Bommai's judgment, S.R. Bommai versus Union of India, the Supreme Court of India emphasized that the family matters like marriage, divorce, etc. are basically secular in nature. Undoubtedly, they have sacramental origin, but they are secular in nature. And state is entitled, state is empowered to legislate upon them and they cannot be covered within the ambit of Article 25, that is fundamental right relating to the freedom of religion. Now, we may conclude that it is the right time to basically prepare a draft of Uniform Civil Code. For the same, for achieving the same goal, the Government of India shall prepare a draft Uniform Civil Code and open it to a national debate. Objections, suggestions of all the religious leaders, legal luminaries shall be invited. And it shall be seen by the government that fear and apprehensions of the minority communities are properly dealt with. And last and no way least, it is submitted that the government shall not implement Uniform Civil Code in one go. The better way is to implement the same in an optional manner so that the skeptical minorities can be gradually covered within the Uniform Civil Code. This will help to earn their trust and to remove their doubts regarding the same. With this, I conclude my lecture. Thank you very much.